Hi, I'm Ashot. I call this episode the Decision Matrix. It's a very strange feeling. You seem to be aware with some distant part of yourself that a specific thought is breaking through your mind. That you're about to think of something or maybe remember something. And then boom, chakalaka, that's it. I was going down in the elevator to the garage, full of emotions after my performance in front of a grateful audience. And the sudden thought just broke through, boom, chakalaka. I remembered that I had forgotten an important accessory of my activity in the meeting room, a wireless speaker. Having reached the garage and even feeling some awkwardness towards the elevator, I pressed button 4 without even waiting for it to fulfill my original request and lazily open its doors on -2 in the garage. Returning to the client's office and approaching the meeting room, I realized that it wasn't empty and there wasn't just one person in it, but several, and that they weren't sleeping, but rather emotionally and very loudly discussing something. They didn't seem to care about my polite knock on the door, and I just entered for my speaker. There was no one in the presenter's place, and about 10 people at the table were actively discussing some idea, probably they just heard one. I sincerely smiled, gestured not to interrupt the amazing discussion, and simply pointed to my speaker standing in the corner. While I was disconnecting everything, winding up electrical wires, fiddling with the extension cord and packing the speaker, I managed to catch the topic they were talking about. I looked at the wall where everyone was periodically pointing fingers and realized that it was one of my favorite topics, the decision matrix. One of its variations was developed by Eisenhower. By this point, one guy was simply shouting at another, utterly amazed why he didn't want to understand the difference between importance and urgency. In his opinion, the first thing to always do was tasks marked as urgent. Even the word urgent spoke for itself. The guy was supported by 2 squeaky girlfriends. They nodded understandingly, simultaneously casting surprised glances at his opponent. And that opponent, although he was already creating the impression of a beaten chick, well, because he somehow strangely pressed himself against the table as if defending himself from the blows of this daring trio. But with his whole appearance, he was not going to accept their opinion. Strange guy. It's completely logical. We do urgent things first. That's why they are urgent. Even a child understands this. Well, right? Let's give it a shot. My own version of the decision matrix is a graph showing the relationship between the importance of tasks and their urgency. Accordingly, we have 4 squares. At the very beginning, in the corner of the first square, we have tasks that are not urgent and not important. Next, the square along the x-axis of urgency is already urgent, but not yet important. The next square along the y-axis is accordingly already important, but not urgent. And finally, the 4th square at the edge of the graph is both urgent and important. Now pay attention. Arrange the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4 in these 4 squares according to the sequence in which you would perform these 4 tasks. That is, where will the 1 be, meaning that you will do first, where's the 2, 3, and what you will do last, that is where the 4 is. Have you thought about it? You won't believe it. 80% of people put 1 in the same place, in the square at the edge of the graph, because it's both urgent and important. And this is correct. But now many confuse 2 with 3, and for some reason voluntarily start doing tasks that are urgent but not important as the next step. Listen again, urgent but not important. Think about it. If you had a choice and you need to choose only one thing, would you want to spend all day doing things that are urgent, by someone else's opinion, by the way, or would you want to spend all day doing things that are important, and by your opinion, by the way? Of course, the second step should be to do things that are important and not urgent. We put 2 here. Now, of course, you would agree that we put 3 in the square where tasks are urgent but not important, and this is correct too. And now, yet again, 80% of people make a mistake in the last 4th square. They put 4 in the inner square at the very beginning of the corner. That is, they're doing to do things that are not important and not urgent last. Did you just hear that? To do things that are not important and not urgent. That's crazy. Such things should not be done at all. There is no 4. Only by stopping doing things from 4, most people increase productivity up to 80%. So all in all, you only have 3 types of tasks. 1. You do urgent and important things. These are the golden 20% of tasks that, according to the Pareto principle from episode 13, will move you 80% forward. Therefore, you spend 80% of your time on them. Then 2. You do things that are important and not urgent. And 3. You do things that are urgent but not important. And that's it. All tasks that are not urgent and not important, you don't do. Look, the most valuable external resource for everyone who decided to grow and get on the path of success is time. Use it wisely. Prioritize tasks correctly. As Peter Drucker said, there is nothing so useless as doing efficiently that which should not be done at all.